the earlier notes, you store this video stuff on your website somewhere. Is that correct?
And what I normally do is I, obviously truncate any excess stuff that was before or after the meeting, and then I put it onto YouTube and then paste the link in on the city calendar under the meeting, because I post every meeting time. And so if you go to the meeting and you click on additional details, the actual recording will be there since we've been recording them, which that started in May or April. So they're all available.
We do have a version, well, not a version of the minutes of the meeting, so we're covered with that need in part. So
technically,
okay,
you don't even need written minutes if you're willing to accept the recording for it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I got a full.
Well, let's pick up on the agenda, and the first part of the agenda is going over we have a series of minutes from board meetings that have not been approved, and there's a requirement that we do have approved minutes. So I would like somebody introduce a motion that we, even though we don't have copies of all of them, to approve the minutes from the previous meetings.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes. It's Pam.
I'd like to speak to that.
Joan would like to speak to that. Can you hear Joan? We're having difficulty hearing here. I'm just using my computer speakers, so.
We only have one set of minutes that I sent to Brian. I sent to everybody today. They were from the April meeting. The meeting minutes for April are here, and you have not received them. The minutes for January, well, we had left Eric and Skip were taking minutes, and I haven't gotten a copy yet, so we're still, I guess they're still working on that.
They're about 89% done. I was working on them right up until I had to come back here and get this meeting going.
Okay.
So
then I was looking for the May minutes, but there was no May meeting, so that's it.
Joan, I think that the minutes are old enough, and my recall that I don't have enough recall to know whether the minutes are accurate or not for January or April so I think we need to have some kind of a blanket approval that we kept the minutes and that they're a good faith effort. And I don't think we ought to spend a lot of time going over them unless somebody feels serious about it. It's just it's a requirement, I understand that. But it's, well, I don't know how much time it's worth spending on it. That's my bottom line. But was there a second to the motion?
I'll second that motion, and I'll review the May meeting minutes, Joan, the ones that you sent, and I think if there's anything really different, and I haven't seen it in the May minutes, I think we're all right doing a blanket approval. So that's my second.
Okay, now is there any more discussion on that motion?
Yes. So are you approving the January minutes that you haven't seen yet, that I haven't seen yet, but I will look at them and get them from Eric shortly?
Could you hear what her question?
No.
She wanted to know if you were also approving the January minutes, which are not completed and nobody has seen yet, or
January and April.
Yeah,
that's what we've got, and that's all that will be, because there's no other meeting minutes that are outstanding, because there weren't any meetings. We missed 3 meetings.
Joan, I was proposing we approve them all. I think we have a good faith effort on the people keeping the minutes, and we don't have really a very good basis to challenge or revise or I mean, the clock has been running, and we just need to keep going and catch up with as we're having our meetings, we need to get current with that, but the past meetings are past.
I think if Joan okays them, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I believe that's the spirit of what I was suggesting.
Call the question.
Question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'm glad. I'm
It's a
glad.
little difficult for me to tell if, did we have a unanimous, are all 5 of the board members here? Is Skip here?
All 5 are present, 2 here at the station and 3 online. And
Okay.
I saw an aye from everybody.
Very good. The ayes have it then. Okay. Ready to move on to the financial reports?
Financial report?
You able to put those on the screen?
I sent them to,
I'm sorry, John.
I sent them to Brian. Is he not? I sent them to Brian.
Yeah, let me see if
I
he's,
sent them to everybody, so,
I don't
except you.
have control of the computer screen. So I don't know. Hey, Brian, are you still online?
No, I think he left.
I know he's doped up, so I'm giving him a call, see if he can give me access to his computer.
Yeah, this is like one of those things that the optometrist, when you cover one eye, can you see the writing on the paper? No, we better go to more amplification.
Yeah.
Or you could, if you've got your smartphone or your iPad with you, you could look at the agenda on that.
Joe,
Brian,
did you
just trying to
send
get
us
control of
the,
screen.
those accounts payable and all
So
of that?
I wasn't able to get a hold of Brian to get the financial reports,
Okay,
but I do have them. I just can't share them on the screen.
okay.
Okay.
First.
All right.
So
Yeah.
Can we approve them next month? Accept our checks?
We're looking at the accounts payable, which is the checks. And the bank.
See, that'll go, but not the.
Bank and July checks right there.
So,
There they are.
well, they're here, but the problem is
Oh, those people are too.
they're not seeing them because,
You emailed them to everybody, didn't you?
Right.
I
Yeah,
just,
so I mean, everybody's seen them.
so,
well, today. Okay.
Well, I'll ask a question.
Right
Mr.
with
Chairman,
them.
I'd like to be recognized. In order to get through this particular issue, if Eric and Joan have reviewed these documents and they find them consistent with the experience during the period for which they cover, I'm willing to accept their validation that they're okay and move on.
okay, that's it's a good suggestion. Is there any question that, looking at the paper here, it looks like there's 4 checks out there that we need to be paying. The bank, the electric, Lane Electric, D&T Construction, LB Office Worker, and Oak Ridge Tire. And those all seem to be that we've got the bills or the vouchers that come with that. It would seem like we ought to be able to approve those for payment.
and Herb, this is Eric at the station. Just for your information, I don't have control to be able to share those documents online so you guys can see them, but Joan emailed them to you, correct? And I have the PDF up on the computer screen here at the station. So Chrissy, Scott, and Skip and Joan can look at them here. So if there was any questions, we could try to answer them.
Are the checks listed in that list, Eric?
I'm sorry?
You have the checks listed that we have to, that we paid or will pay?
Yes. Can I read them to you?
Yeah, is the answer yes?
Yes, we have.
I've reviewed those.
The list
Uh,
of Lane Electric.
Joan,
What?
there is one other check that will probably be necessary to write, and it's the one for the grass cutting. Did you get a billing? Did you get an invoice for that?
Yes, that's in the invoice. That's the
That's
300,
in
right?
there. Then that catches up all the work that we
Is that DOT?
have initiated at the station. So I think we're on.
No, I don't have
Oh,
that.
that's okay. Sorry, that's
I
not,
approve the bills. I make a motion to approve the checks represented by these 4 expenses.
when he does discussion, I'll bring that up.
Is there a second for the motion?
Skip, did you want to
I was gonna
second?
make a motion, we accept the
Okay,
document as she's,
John made the motion. Do you
okay,
want
I'll
to
second.
Skip Baker seconded it here at the station.
Okay, is there more discussion on the motion?
Just for clarification, the invoice that I saw in there was for repair to the screws on the building. That wasn't for the grass cutting. So we do not have the invoice for the grass cutting at
Oh,
this point
okay.
that I'm
That's-
aware of.
Just
That's a
real
good-
briefly, we have a $73 bill from Lane Electric, a $300 bill for the roofing job, a $125 bill for the accountant, and $188.95 for a tire or a battery. That's the 4 items that were submitted on the
Let me,
the document.
if I may say, I've been working with Mark Hager, who did the grass cutting, and he's complete as of today. I inspected the work last weekend, and it's all been done. He's cleared up everything around the main
So
point.
then-
We have good access, so that's another one that'll be coming down, and I'll get him to send you an invoice, Joan and Eric.
So when we have an invoice from him, we could pay him, right?
What's that, Herb?
When you have an invoice from Hager, we could pay him, right? Do you have an
Yeah.
invoice?
Yeah. We have an estimate from him, but you don't want to pay it on the estimate. But he did tell me by phone this afternoon that it'll be $300 as his estimate indicated. So, but that's not under consideration now. That's something that'll have to be done during the.
That to keep our process appropriate, though, we need to have a bill from him before we can pay him. We've got to have a paper trail on this.
That's correct.
So we have a motion on the floor to pay the 4 bills that are listed on the document. Is there additional discussion on that? Okay, call for the question. Those in favor of paying the bill, say aye.
Aye. Melinda and I.
Eric, we're going to have to count on you to be our voice from the fire station week, so that we also need to leave a track on the yeas and the nays. Is it unanimous?
Yeah, Skip and Joan both voted yes here.
Okay, so that
They're
passes.
also on the screen. I don't know if you can see them raise their hands. Skip's been raising his hand over there.
Well,
Eric, Eric,
he's really-
if
Yes.
those guys at the station say anything, we're gonna have to have you repeat it because you can't hear them.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Skip's only about a 1/4 3/8 of an inch tall in the picture, so it's hard. Yeah, I can see your arm flapping though. You can see my lips flapping, so we're okay. Okay. And recognizing that this is not the best way in the world to do business, but it's the option we have, and we need to just make it work. So we will be able to get together. Joan, will you and John be able to sign the checks and get them
Sure.
out, or how do you want to do that?
Yes.
I volunteer to do that.
All right. You're a good person.
Okay. Joan, you okay with that?
Yeah, he just gave me power.
Joan?
Yes,
Hello, Joan. Whenever you get ready, just give me a call and I'll come down and meet you at the church. That's a good meeting
okay,
place.
well, Skip is here and he's volunteering to sign them also. There's one check I haven't written yet. I have to go get the check and make the check for Oak Ridge Tire because the invoice came too late to be included in those that were
Okay.
written by.
Pam, were you able to hear Joan?
No.
So Skip is here and he's willing to sign the checks with Joan, except for she's going to have to handwrite a check for the tire center because that invoice came too late to be ran with the bookkeeper.
Okay. Thank you.
That'll be great.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Okay, let's move on to old business. And Joan, I'm not sure if the
Yep, you know.
SDIS Safety and Security Grant is old business or new business, but do you want to talk about that?
Well, this is new business because I just received it yesterday. I'd gotten an email.
I'm going to move this
Okay.
a little closer. There should be a speaker here so they can hear you, or mic. Go ahead and speak and see if they can hear you.
Can we move away?
Yep.
This is a new grant possibility that just came in the mail the other day. And although we did get emails on it, I don't know if you all did or not. It's just an opportunity to get a grant, a matching grant from SDIS, and their first priority is for COVID-related expenses, which I don't think Hazeldell would have. If we
Just
do,
say that again slowly, Joan.
the first priority for funding, their grant funding, is COVID-related expenses.
Okay.
The second priority for funding is safety and security projects. So I think as a district, we might want to look at that, and the station personnel can possibly identify whether any of these things would be possible. And John and people who are familiar with our station up there might have some input on that. The grant is not due until November 18th, so there's plenty of time to think about it. Just wanted to get this out here, and I sent it to everybody, so they should get an email with this attachment.
Yeah, I have that maybe we have Eric ask the chief to make a recommendation to look at our facilities, and it'd be nice if we could have the direction on this come from the operations side. Safety issues are something that the chief ought to be providing leadership on, and be interested to get his recommendations on what we might do to enhance the safety and security of our folks.
It's fun. It's fun.
So is Eric nodding his head in the affirmative?
Yeah, big deal.
All righty, thank you. Okay, now since I kind of mashed over old business, do we have any old business that we need to address?
Any other old business?
Yeah, Eric, you know, every time I go in the station, I'm listening to a concert from our video monitoring system.
So I went up there 2 weeks ago and worked on it, and I was there for a half hour and it did not beep while I was there after I'd worked on it. So is it still beeping?
Yeah, it must be afraid of you, Eric.
I'll head up there tomorrow afternoon and check on it again. And if it's still beeping, because I got it to stop, but if it's still in alarm mode, I will call that phone number and have that guy come up, and because I believe what it is the hard drive's got a bad sector on it. That's what I'd found on the report. So, so what I did is I told it to reformat it, and it stopped alerting while I was there.
Well, that's a good proposal.
Yeah, good progress.
Let's
Thank you.
go with that. Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Anything else
Okay.
in the world of old business? Anything in the order of new business that we haven't covered?
Wait a minute. Let me think
Okay,
a
well, you
little
think
bit
a little
here.
bit, and while you're thinking, Eric, are you going to do the chief's report?
I actually don't have anything. I don't have a activity report for you for the month. I apologize. I was too busy today to have it ready.
Yeah. Brian indicated when the conversation prior to the meeting that difficulties meeting the training objectives because of the COVID-19 kind of concerns, strategies, and that we're maybe looking at a potential shortage of certifiable firefighters. Is that accurate?
Well, what it is we've just put on an influx. I think we have 12 or 13 new volunteers. So the issue is trying to comply with COVID meeting restrictions. So we're trying to do a hybrid class, and so they do the online portion, and then we'd meet to do hands-on. So it's just up to that firefighter level when they're brand new.
So are you all concerned about staffing levels?
Well, we're always concerned with staffing levels, but we're doing a lot better right now than what we were 6 months ago.
Yes.
Well, interpret that as progress. Thank you. Okay, and the equipment.
Wait.
Wait.
Eric, how about equipment?
I
Everything
was just going to do the equipment, John.
What's that?
I was just getting into the equipment readiness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the, you can't read the thing because it's really small.
Where you were, but okay.
Well, I don't sometimes either. So Eric, where are we going on equipment readiness? Everything up and rolling?
So the only vehicle that I am aware of that doesn't run right now is the tender that I just put batteries in up at Hazeldell. My plan was to go back up there with some starting fluid to try to get that vehicle started. It turns over just fine, but it's been sitting for a while and I just can't get it to start. So I'm not 100% sure why. If I can't get it started with some starting fluid, I'll have to call somebody else in that knows more than I do. But other than that, coming up, I believe the staff rig, the Dodge pickup that we just put a battery in, it's going to be needing brakes soon. And other than that, I can't think of anything earth-shattering as far as equipment maintenance.
Okay. You know, kind of take,
Hang on a second. Scott has something.
what does Scott have?
There you go, Scott.
So I know that you budgeted to have the Lakeport engine looked at, and I think it would be a good idea to get that in and see what it would take to fix it so that you have an engine in service at Hazeldell, because right now you don't have an engine that can pump water in Hazeldell. So either up there or look at that Lakeport engine and see what it would take to get it in working order. If it can't be put in working order, then maybe it's time to start looking at vehicle replacement for that.
Is that the engine that's parked up there now, Scott?
Yes.
And it can't pump, is what you're saying, right?
I'm sorry, there's actually 2 engines up there right now, and neither one of them passed the last pump test. So you guys need an engine up there to maintain your something you need to look at sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But you could always bring an engine from Oak Ridge, right, if we need it?
Yeah, of course, we would respond to that area with our own engine. But I do think you guys need to have one there that actually is in working order.
Yeah. Now, at previous meetings, I promised that I would check Himmel, who is a diesel mechanic and equipment mechanic that lives on High Prairie up here. If he was certified for safety equipment, he is not, but he says he can pretty much fix anything. But I assume then we can't use him if that's the case, if he's not certified. Is that correct, Eric?
So if they're not, the issue becomes, especially if you're dealing with like a braking system and the pump system, if they're not EVT certified, which is emergency vehicle technician, if they're not EVT certified, and something were to happen, you know, the lawyers are going to look at, well, who's doing your maintenance? So there's a potential for liability there. That's why I was saying it should be an EVT certified. You guys can do, we can do however you want it done. I'm just looking at the liability portion of that. But if it was a braking system or the pumping system, I would definitely insist on it being, I think that it would be more prudent to have an EVT technician on that vehicle.
Have we got access to one of those people?
Yes, we do. They're just, the two shops that are available in Eugene, Springfield are expensive. And we have a third that's a mobile guy that drives around. It's just, he's hard to get a hold of and he's very busy.
Well, we need to get after it because we got to have the thing functioning.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a piece of scrap iron if it doesn't work.
Yeah. In view of Scott's comments, I take it you all are going to pursue getting someone to work on those pumps, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, I make a suggestion we get on that and get somebody to look at it.
Certainly agree with Pam. Sooner's better.
Yesterday's better than today.
Right.
Yes, it is. When you want it to work, it needs to work. Okay, are we cool on that? We're going to go ahead and Eric, you guys are going to get somebody who's certified and get that engine back online.
Yep.
The two of them, the two engines, not just
Correct.
one, right?
Right.
Scott, two?
Correct.
So which one are we gonna fix?
Well, one is yours and the other's owned by the city, so they'll both get fixed.
Oh,
Yeah. We need to get our rolling stock fixed so that it runs and that it can do, I mean, we are a fire department and without the tools, we're not a very good one. So let's get after it.
That's correct. Okay.
Okay, any other new business? No new business, I'm regressing. How
I
about,
have a suggestion with respect to new business.
I'm sorry.
You know, getting qualified on virtual meetings is a big deal, and God help the school system because I know they got to do this with all these kids, and maybe they'll do it better than us. But I'm willing to conduct a tutorial with you, board members. I can set up a meeting, a mock meeting, and make sure you're capable of getting online and managing the system as we go through a formal meeting. Would you be interested in doing this?
John, you are very hard to understand. I did not understand anything.
You can't understand what I said?
Now I can. Now tell me. What
Okay.
you said.
All right. I will set up a program for our board to do a virtual meeting and make sure all of you are qualified to get online and perform. Right now, we can't do that. I know Joan can't do it, and I know Skip can't do it. I think Herb is pretty good, and I'm pretty good, and you're pretty good, Pam. Now, that's what I'm trying to say.
I know how to do it, I just don't want to.
Yeah, so I believe the issue is Skip is here, and he just has. Hang on a second, sorry. Walk-in patient here at the station. So Skip is here. He can get online, and I believe Joan's issue is just not having good internet access at her house.
Well,
So
that's what I think. I
So-
only have, I can support but one bar, so it's not very fast.
So do either of you feel like you need training on?
But yes, but I don't have, I've been having installed Zooms, but I couldn't even do it anyway. I don't know how to do that.
My son's Mike Melandon. He's volunteered to do this. Having served as a senior programmer for Verizon for many years, I will send you his phone number, and you will make a date with him for this instruction, and he'll get you tuned up, and then I'll ask him to do a meeting for us and make sure that everybody's tuned in on that. So that's what we'll do. If that's okay with the board, accomplishing that fact.
That's a great idea. All right, I'm ready to
Joan,
move into the director's report.
Okay.
Any of the directors have anything they would like to report at this time?
Yeah, the wood cutting that I was dealing with Paul, can't remember Paul's last name, but anyway,
Pollard.
Pollard, yeah, Paul Pollard. He's complete, and the piles of slash are there, and I'll ask him how many cords he got out of that. I don't think he got a lot, but he was had volunteered to pay $20 per cord. Cut the trees down, clean up the slash, and burn it when burning's acceptable. And you could give $20 a cord to the volunteer department. Who do I make the check, have him make the check to? To us?
Would it be possible to have him make it to the Volunteer Association? Isn't that what we originally talked about the money would go to?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's the address? What's the official title?
Eric's gonna have to help you, John.
All right, Eric, how you want to do this? Not going to be a lot.
Go ahead.
There has been donations being made in the last couple months.
Were you able to hear her?
No,
So it's the Oak Ridge Volunteer Association, and it's the PO Box 1410. It's the city's. Oh, I'm sorry. They do have a different one.
Wow.
You can just drop it off here at the station, or I can get you the PO. I'll email you the mailing address for the Volunteer Association.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me, Skip, but you had been to the meeting in Seaside and you were prepared to share the outcomes last time, and we kind of messed that up. So are you up for sharing the outcomes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a well worthwhile trip. I learned quite a bit, especially when to talk about the website access. There's some real happenings there that we should all be aware of. There's a lot of lawsuits coming in by small districts getting sued because their website doesn't have access for blind people, hearing people, language impairment. They're going for deep pockets by suing these special districts like ours. On top of that, California just passed an ordinance that says they have to have a website if you have a small district. Usually what happens in California ends up in Oregon. So this is something we're gonna have to be aware of. The deep pockets get sued because somebody with a hearing problem can't get on our website or can't see or can't speak Spanish. Something to be aware of. But there are other things there. It was very informative to talk a lot about emergency plans for the state. And as near as I can tell, we are the only small district without an employee. Everybody else has got employees except us. So, but it's worth going to. I think it's really valuable for somebody to go to that thing every year.
Okay, thank you.
So
Any
what,
other?
you gonna take any action on that? We're gonna upgrade our website? What do you want to do with that?
Well, we don't have a website right now. And until we have to, I would say we don't need to do that.
Okay.
The other thing I was working on was an open house up there, but we got sabotaged by this coronavirus. And so until we get past that, I don't see us trying to do that until we can do it without masks. It's on hold.
All right.
Okay. Herb, I had one other thing I failed to tell you about.
Have at her, John.
Okay. I have noted at night that a light that Land Electric maintains and charges us for, which we've located strategically for viewing the area where we draft, is out. So I called Lane Electric and asked them to come out and get the light running, and asked them, and Eric, tell me if this is okay, to move the light, rather it's directly now showing against the building with the 10,000 gallon water tank. And I'm going to ask them to swing that light to light up the 10,000 gallon water tank and the drafting fire plug, so that you'll have light on the fire plug. Right now, there's no light on that area. So is that okay with you? You want to look at it?
I'd like to maybe run up there at night and just double check and see what it looks like. I don't remember what it looks like at night up there.
We're also going to do.
Okay. It's dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you get back to me, because they'll probably call me and ask me how I want to do it, and I'll have them call you. But I was trying to relieve you of all the flotsam and jetsam.
Yeah, and then also for the hydrant itself, if it, we're going to use lights off of our engines to be able to light that up.
Well, that's good. Okay. So let me know if you think moving it would help. And
Okay.
that's all. Thank you, Herb.
Yeah. I guess my report would be, I got a call a couple days ago from Lane County, and we hadn't submitted our LB 50 and our resolution for the budget, and we are one of two agencies in the Lane County that missed the July 15th reporting date. But Brian is taking care of that. We've got a solution, but it's I guess, symptomatic of the difficulty with people doing a lot of different jobs and a lot of different demands in terms of getting things done on time and appropriately. So we gotta, and this is this medium of managing is something we're doing. We're actually, this is, I think, meeting has gone better than some, but it's an area that we've got to put some energy into in terms of improving our technique and looking at different ways of maintaining our accountability to commitment to things. So we're okay with the county, and things are going fine. All right.
Is there any action that we got to take on the fact that we missed and haven't submitted, or have we corrected that, Joan?
I haven't done it. I don't know that I have all the paperwork for it.
How about, is Brian the one to have done that?
Yeah, the fire chief was supposed to do it. That was, he accepted that responsibility, and it just, for whatever reason, didn't get done.
So, Herb, I did get your voicemail this morning, and I did check with Brian, and he said that he did submit that to the county, and he CC'd you on the email.
Right.
Good.
Yeah. That's what I guess I was sharing, that we have submitted all the appropriate documents, and we're okay with the county. They're not, I guess they don't expect 100% compliance, and here we are to reinforce that. Life is good. I would entertain.
Dawn had something, Herb.
Okay, I'm sorry, Pam. Go ahead.
Would you
No.
forward that email to me?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Would you forward the email about the budget?
Can you email the LB 50 form to Joan? She needs that for the records.
Yeah, just that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Joan, I'm sorry. I thought I did that, but I will.
Okay.
You
need to keep that.
I will follow up on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so
Oh,
moved.
hang on. You forgot to ask for
Oh, I
public
didn't,
comment. And
I
Chrissy's
didn't
here.
see Christy here. Let's have your public comment.
Can you guys hear me?
Could you crank up the volume a little bit?
Yeah, that's up a little bit closer.
So I just wanted to come and say a couple of things today. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh,
Okay, one thing I wanted to ask was, what is the policy on the rural addressing? You guys used to provide the little Hazeldell signs that had addresses on them, and I'm curious if there's a policy on that.
There is a policy, and that's something the Volunteer Association was managing, I believe.
No,
They were selling them, but
no,
we haven't done that in a long time.
Yes, we had policy. I'll have to look that up.
okay.
It hasn't happened for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so I can say I've been on the Volunteer Association for a long time, and to my knowledge, in 13 years, the Volunteer Association has never purchased any of the little placards. However, we have went out as a department and put them on houses. And to my understanding, are we out of them?
No, Justin has a bunch in his office because he was supposed to be doing those.
Okay, so I was curious if there's a charge to the resident.
Yes.
65.
It is, okay.
Yes. And when we get a request, they fill out a form, and then we order the materials, and then the volunteers or the department puts it out legally, however they're supposed to, make sure it's secure. And they're using the green signs, the green numbers. We haven't had a request for about 3 years.
Yeah, it's been kind of sitting on the back burner.
Just a thought, since the patrons in Hazeldell already pay taxes, maybe that should be a free service to them, because addressing is so important for the fire department. We go out in the medic unit or respond in an engine. If we can't find an address, we're not much help. So I think that's a huge benefit for the folks that live out there, and they kind of already pay for it. So maybe if we offer it as a free service, more people would take part in it.
Is anybody asking for it? Is anybody asking for it?
But we did have a request not too long ago on Trantham Lane because there is no markings out there.
Okay, well, it's not very much money.
I was gonna say, how much money are we talking about?
And-
Sign.
I think we would have to have a motion and do this because we already have a policy in place.
So what action has to be taken? What action has to be taken?
I was hoping that you guys could bring this up for discussion. It doesn't necessarily have to take place today, but if it is something that comes up that you guys decide to do it for free, I think we have enough volunteers right now that I would be willing to help kind of lead a group that maybe when we're on cruise, we kind of drive around in the area and we look for places that don't have addresses. Because as Scott says, there's lots of times where, and this isn't only Hazeldell District, this is West Fur as well, where we're looking for an address and it's taking us too long to find the address. And as you know, minutes can be detrimental. So my thought here was that just to figure out what the policy was so that you guys could maybe address it as a board and maybe reconsider.
Yeah, we have had a budget item the last couple budget cycles for money for that program, and that we've had almost no public interest in availing of it, and recognizing that there was a cost associated with it. But I also value your input and the idea that if we can't find them, it's hard to render the services they're entitled to. So we need to put together, figure out what it would cost and the strategy on how we would do it. And it's worthwhile, so we need to be looking.
So if I guess not. I just wanted to add to that. I agree with Scott that we don't do any good if we can't find the house. So I would definitely be in support of maybe we could put together a budget for next year to see how much it would cost us to do a good drive and get those address markers out onto houses. It's more helpful to us than the people. They know where they're going. We don't.
I was having a little trouble understanding this address thing, and now I understand it from this discussion. That was very helpful. We had a program started when we initially formed the district, and Jerry Shore purchased a bunch of the signs. So we've got to get an inventory of the signs, and most of the people have been responding, but it's going to take a bit of activism to make it happen. So that's why I asked, what action do we have to take? And Eric, your comment is certainly worthwhile in that area. So I don't know.
It used to be on our budget. Is it gone?
I don't think we included it this year, so we've had zero interest from the public in terms of doing it. In terms of paying for it, I'm sure people would be okay with a freebie.
Last year's budget, there was $65, and this upcoming budget year, it was dropped down to zero, I believe.
Yeah. You all haven't seen any of those signs
We have
the station, have you?
About the rest.
Christy, did you see any signs that in the volunteer area somewhere in the station?
We have a bunch of posts in Justin's office. I don't know if he has the rest of the supplies, but I know he has some supplies. Maybe a dozen. I don't know how many he has.
Well, you know, this is where we need a newsletter or something to go out to every member of a district and tell them they get purchased this sign for a certain amount, and we would install it. Does that sound reasonable, Christy?
I'm sorry, it's really difficult.
Does it sound reasonable that if we get a program where we could notify all of our members, Hazeldell members, and say, sign to find you in an emergency. And you could purchase one from us for so much and then follow up on that.
John,
Yeah,
I think the suggestion is to make this just part of what they're paying taxes. And the sign, to my knowledge, the value of the sign is only about $65. So let that be part of, hey, you paid your taxes this year. Here's a sign for your property, because
that's very good.
I'd rather have them have the sign than not have the sign. So it makes it easier for our crews to find their house.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eric, are you guys going to put together a proposal then on
Yeah.
what it would cost and how we would implement it? And can we do it all at once, or is this a multi-year project, or the logistics of getting it done? I would suspect, just listening to the conversations, that we're very supportive of the idea, and that we just need to figure out how to do it.
So
Right.
if I can propose an idea, we have a lot of new people that are doing driver training, and within that driver training, they're doing kind of district familiarization.
Can't hear you, Chrissy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Better.
So, if I can propose an idea, we have a lot of new people that we're going to be putting through driver training. And within the driver training, they do a lot of district familiarization. So that's driving, everywhere in the district. So what we could do is put together a spreadsheet and have those new people driving the areas and writing a list, just kind of tallying it up, what addresses aren't marked. And that way we can have it kind of flagged, and maybe say in a month or two, we could get back to you guys and give you a list of how many addresses we have that are not marked, and then you'll be able to realize what that cost number is going to be a little bit better, how it's going to affect you.
That sounds workable. The other thing, I remember when we were working on this originally, there was a program that you could buy that fire departments could query a call and find out where the call was coming from, and it gave the address and the direction. Now, I don't know who, maybe one of the districts somewhere in our county, they know what that program is, and then you don't have to worry about signage.
So we do have multiple addressing programs that we use that are pretty good, but when you get into the rural areas, it just it becomes difficult sometimes, and I'm sure Scott and Eric can back me up on this, that it just gets less reliable when it's in those rural areas. Even Google addressing, when you click on that, there's at certain addresses we have in town that will take you up to Crescent Lake. It's really bizarre. And, like I said, they're very helpful, but that 10% of the time they give us a bogus address, and, and there's also some areas where we're out of Wi-Fi in the Hazeldell and Westford area. So all of those programs, aren't reliable because they're not working.
I agree with that, yeah.
And then, John,
Okay.
the other issue that we have is, we run into a lot of houses that have more than one house on the same driveway. So we need to know exactly which house we're going to. A lot of people think that the mailbox is good enough, but you have 4 or 5 mailboxes on the post down at the end of the driveway. It doesn't help us find the exact house. So that's why we want those markers on the driveway.
If you want to see how effective they are, sometime when you're driving up by Dexter Lake, look at all the green signs along the driveways coming up through there. Every one of them has an address sign on it, and it's
Yeah, that's
effective.
nice.
we were the very first one to get an address for our residents. And if you would Google map my address, it sends you out toward the dam and then coming back this way toward our house. So, I mean, I'm not even out of High Prairie is. So I think it's very necessary for our firemen and our medics.
Good. Well, do we need to formalize what you said, Christy, in a memo, policy type memo as a program?
So I'll come
you're gonna encapsulate this in your activity.
No, I don't think you need to formulate anything right now. I'll come back to you in probably a month or maybe two, maybe end of summertime, and come back to you guys with a better list that staff can look over, and then that way you guys can kind of tally it up and see how it's going to affect you budgetarily. And in that meantime, they can check and see what signs we already have in the station, so there may not be a cost after all.
That's excellent.
All right.
Hey, we ought to add this item on our action list, Joan. Joan?
Okay.
Action items. It got delayed in January. We don't know what happened in January, so we don't have an action item.
Well, we ought to
I
just
wanted
update
to
it.
add that it was about $30 to $35 was the cost that we were charging, and that was an actual cost, pass-through cost of the green sign a couple years ago.
I only paid,
I was just about to order a new one myself and my neighbor, because we have the problem where we have the old red signs that get knocked around by the elk.
Oh, I didn't even know there was new green signs. I've only seen.
Yeah, there's nice, the green are vertical.
Oh.
I think that's what Justin has in his office.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what he has.
so there's barely any of those out there.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's that many.
I know of one that he put, but I don't remember where it was. He went out and put one up.
Roy Davidson.
Okay,
Yeah.
Roy Davidson.
that's good to know.
ours is green.
Yeah. I got two.
This might be an opportunity for us on this SDIS safety and security grant, calling this a safety thing as a way to chase some money for this.
Well, let's-
Well, I was actually gonna even mention this Zoom equipment. You guys need better sound, so that might be able to be COVID related too.
Yeah.
So it could be more online.
we can see what it says about that.
I'm sure these two have lots of ideas already
I'm
wrapped
sure.
up for you guys
Yeah.
though. So I do have two more things for public comment that I wanted to mention. One thing is I have heard for years and years people not know where the Hazeldell Fire Station is, including this comment came up yesterday. And I was explaining to somebody where the Hazeldell Fire Department was, and they've driven by there 100 times and they had no idea it was a fire department. So I've had this idea before and I've never came to an actual meeting to ask you guys about it. But as kind of, you know, I don't know, PR community type thing, I think it would be nice to put something out front, maybe a big flower box with a big sign that, you know, indicates that this is the Hazeldell Hazeldell Fire Department or building or such as that, something so that at a minimum the community out there actually knows that it's a fire department and not just a big metal building that's unknown. I cannot tell you how many people did not know.
Yeah, that sign is posted up there on Dead Mountain Road, and I think the building has the same kind of label. And the High Prairie is marked coming both directions with fire trucks. So I think that's covered. They just need to pay attention to what they see on the road.
So, John, so I think that the sign you're referring to is the construction sign. I believe that's on the inside of the building. There is no address marker or anything on the outside of the building that says Hazeldell RFPD. There is the county road signs that say fire station or fire truck, but that's
Right.
it.
And there's another sign that we had when we were building it. So I'll take another look at that. And
Yeah, it's a, we
think
put
that's
a lot of effort into that station and we're proud of it. So we need to get our name on it and let the public know what we're doing.
And that's exactly my point. We should be proud of it. I'm thinking, you know, something, just a simple landscaping project kind of on the corner that could be, you know, maybe some retaining bricks with some nice plants in it with a really big statement sign that, you know, says this is Hazeldell Fire Station.
Or at least as a minimum, have something on the building, a big sign identifying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you had
Mark.
another point, sure.
we'll take another look at it.
Okay. And my last thing I wanted to bring up to you guys was that the city council did pass a resolution to go for a levy this year. or this next election. So I don't know how involved you guys are in that. I realize it's a city thing, but I'm just hoping that Hazeldell is aware of it and can somehow be involved, because I think everyone is a really important player to the public safety in this area, and it's going to be a really big thing if we aren't able to pass a levy this November. The levy is for a public safety levy.
That's for the fire department and the EMS. So we cover both the ambulance service district and the city.
It will be for public safety only, so it would be fire, ambulance, and police.
So what, it's an information thing or?
No, it's basically going to the voters asking for,
Oh, more money.
yeah, exactly. So if it doesn't happen, it affects Hazeldell, whatever the,
So the resolution, the city just agreed to this last night, is that correct?
correct. I just
So we
wanted to
need
make
to-
sure that you guys are aware of it so that you guys can be involved in
Yeah.
the talk that happens coming up. I just am really hoping that Hazeldell is a really key player in it.
How big is the levy?
We have a mutual interest.
$2.73 per thousand.
That's
Two
what it's
seventy-three per thousand?
for the city.
It only covers the city.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if
Alright.
it doesn't, it affects it.
Mr. Chairman, before we leave, you know, I've heard a number of things here that would be good things to put into that grant we talked about at the beginning. And who's going to write that grant? Will that be you, Eric, or what?
What grant?
The grant that we talked about that addresses
Oh, the COVID safety grant?
COVID and the safety and security grant. I'm hearing things that could go in there that we'll mention here in this meeting.
But John, that's not due till the middle of November, and we've got a little time to figure out what we need and what we would like to get from a grant. But hopefully, we've got somebody in the department that can do that, grant writing.
Well, that's the question I was asking.
Well, we're kind of trying to put that into Eric's pocket. He doesn't
we
have
can-
enough in his pack.
Brian and Scott have both have experience with grant writing, so somebody will get it done.
Good.
And,
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Yeah, thanks. That's, I apologize for missing you, but that's one of the downsides of this kind of technology is that when you're out of sight now, it's hard to recognize people and to be more inclusive, and we'll work at that.
I absolutely understand. We've been going through the same challenges doing all of our meetings on Zoom as well. Definitely a learning curve.
Okay.
All righty, I'm going to try one more time. A motion for adjournment.
I make a motion with.
Skip made a motion.
It's been moved and seconded, I'm sure of that. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Bye.
Ayes have it. We are officially adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Let's leave the meeting.
Okay, so now how do I?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. What we should be doing is
There's
Stop
everybody.
video.
because there's a lot of animosity already.
Yeah,
If we're going to charge them, people won't do it.
yeah, and I do think that that's why there hasn't been a big
Yeah.